What is up, everybody? My name is Dakota Wolf, and welcome to episode 3 of Weathering the Storm, an Orlando Storm podcast. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Weathering the Storm Pod, on Twitter at Orlando Storm Pod, and go ahead and subscribe and like the video if you haven't already. But today we're going to get into a quarterback prospect that a lot of you local to Florida are probably already familiar with, especially you Florida Gator fans out there. Couldn't be me, but hey, we're on the same team right now in this podcast, so I'll keep the trash talk to a minimum. Not that I have any room to be talking trash, anyways. But that is Kyle Trask. A very good career as a Florida Gator, and a little bit of an interesting career in the NFL so far. But we'll go ahead and get into it, all the good, the bad, everything in between. Um, yeah, let's get to it. All right, so first we're just going to start off with a bit of a career overview for Kyle Trask. He played really only 2 significant years at Florida for the Florida Gators, and then after that was all said and done, he kind of went to Tampa Bay for 3 years. But starting with Florida, his first real breakout year was that junior year. As you can see, a 67% completion percentage, just about 3,000 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Really good ratio there. 8.3 yards per attempt. That's pretty good, about normal. And 156 passer efficiency rating. But really, his first year that he really broke out and kind of started making national headlines was his senior year in 2020. Attempts went way up and completions went way up. Hit a 69% completion percentage, just over 4,000 yards passing to 43 touchdowns, so an 18 touchdown increase over the year before, and only a 1 interception increase over the year before. Yards per attempt also went up, and yards per game went up. Passer efficiency rating went up. Everything went up in his senior year. Looked really good, and he finished 4th in the Heisman voting. So naturally, this helped his draft stock rise a great deal. And then he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There, he sat behind Tom Brady for at least his first year. I can't remember when Tom Brady left and Baker Mayfield came in, but either way, he sat behind Tom Brady for 1 or 2 years. And then Baker Mayfield came in and he sat behind him for the rest of his tenure there with Tampa Bay. And yeah, I mean, I guess that's really where the stats lie. You can kind of see there's not really anything to talk about with Tampa Bay there. Only 4 completions on 11 attempts throughout his entire career. So, I mean, really just nothing significant there. But other stuff, he was drafted specifically in the second round with the 64th pick in the 2021 NFL draft by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was then cut by Tampa Bay just a couple months ago, August 26, 2025. Most recent news that we've heard of Kyle Trask, he worked out for the Indianapolis Colts just earlier this week, actually, on October 14th, 2025, for a backup spot behind Daniel Jones following an Anthony Richardson injury, another Florida quarterback there. But he was not selected. He lost that job to Brett Rippon, I believe. And I guess really what's significant about that, you can kind of look at it one of two ways. Brett Rippon did not even work out for the Colts where Kyle Trask did. So you can say, wow, how horrible did you have to look to lose a job to a guy that was not even working out? Or you can look at it as they already kind of had a guy in mind that they wanted, and him working out really wouldn't have made a difference either way. But they worked him out just in case to see if he was something special, and he wasn't. And then they chose Brett Rippon. So you can look at it as kind of bias on their part. They already wanted somebody specific, or you can be like, man, he must have really looked bad and lost the job to somebody who didn't even work out. But all that aside, we'll go ahead and give some reasons for optimism why he would be a good fit with the Orlando Storm and why he would choose to come here. Just strictly talking his strengths as a passer and as a quarterback, he's really, his primary strength is his accuracy in general. You saw the completion percentages before, you saw the touchdown to interception ratios, like just really strong numbers there. And it shows in his play, like he passes the eye test too. His accuracy specifically on the short to intermediate routes is elite, at least at the college level and in those seasons. Again, elite by NFL standards. It's kind of yet to be seen. He's only been a backup, hasn't really had that opportunity yet. But in addition to that, his throwing under the pressure, it doesn't really seem to phase him too much. When the pocket's crowded, he has the poise and he can throw it with a guy right in his face and still make the accurate throw. In addition to that, high IQ and avoids the stupid mistakes. So those kind of go hand in hand. You know, he's not going to get too rattled by what the defense is throwing at him. He's going to understand what to do and where to go, and he's not going to make those just stupid rookie mistakes. The delay of games, just the failing to pick up blitz packages and good pre-snap recognition. Can sit, analyze the defense, and make changes to the offense if necessary, and identify weaknesses. Other benefits, Other benefits, he sat behind Tom Brady and Baker Mayfield. So those are two. Obviously, Tom Brady, probably the greatest quarterback of all time. I would say so. As much as that pains me to say, yeah, I don't think there's any debate. Greatest quarterback of all time, and a really great quarterback right now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield. So sat on the bench and learned behind two amazing quarterbacks and the greatest to ever do it. Heisman finalist, 4th place in 2020. So obviously, very prestigious company there. Former 2nd round pick. So obviously busts are drafted in the 1st round. Certainly the 2nd round, even the 1st pick in the 1st round. But I would think everyone can agree it takes a certain level of talent to be drafted in the 2nd round of the NFL draft. So obviously a positive there. And the next one, I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but he would fit perfectly in a John Gruden offense. So Kyle Trask is the perfect type of quarterback for that West Coast. You need to get the ball out fast. You need to hit those high completion percentage throws, mainly to the tight ends. He loves hitting the tight ends, the slot receivers, and the running backs. That is the John Gruden offense. And again, that he would fit perfectly within that. So again, it's a lot of things that kind of seem like they're lining up for this. Like, it would be the perfect situation. John Gruden has lived in Florida. And again, I guess the next point we can go to, he's a local player. He's played for the Florida Gators and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers his entire career. He's played football in Florida for, since high school, where he played in Texas, I believe, and then obviously college and NFL in Florida. So it all kind of ties in perfectly. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but John Gruden, coached for Tampa Bay for all them years, has lived in Tampa Bay for all them years. Then you have Kyle Trask. He's also local to the area. It all ties together with what Mike Rapoli has kind of said. He wants the local guys. Well, these are two local guys. And he's a perfect scheme fit. Obviously the high completion percentage throws, hitting the tight ends and the slot wide receivers and the running backs, that fits in perfectly. But also it's the mentality, it's the mindset. He's shown the high IQ, he's shown the intelligence, the intangibles, and that's what John Gruden needs. He expects a lot from the quarterback that's running his offense. He needs them to know the playbook, to know the plays, to be smart, and obviously have the work ethic, but to be smart and to understand what's going on. And Kyle Trask is somebody that can do that. But with all that aside, obviously, there are reasons why he would be available to the Orlando Storm. If everything was perfect, he would be a starter for one of the 32 teams in the NFL. It's not just opportunity alone. If he was the perfect quarterback when Tom Brady left, they wouldn't have brought in Baker Mayfield. He would have been starting for them, but he's not. And there are reasons for that. And of course, this is not to pile on the guy. I just got done praising him for all this stuff, so don't take offense to any of it. Every quarterback has their downsides, and we're going to get into them right now. And here are some reasons for pessimism with Kyle Trask to the Orlando Storm. And starting off with some of his weaknesses as a quarterback. Little to no mobility. I mean, a true pocket passer, which is something that's kind of growing extinct in the modern NFL. Even, the less mobile quarterbacks, they're still more mobile than Kyle Trask is. He is a true pocket passer, a true Tom Brady. Like, would fit in perfectly with the era of Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger could move though. Don't get me wrong, but regardless, like it's it's weird. It's weird to see in the modern NFL, but that is a thing. When the pressure is surrounding him, he does have the poise to make that tough throw. But don't expect him to scramble away and get any yards. He's just not that type of quarterback. And I didn't pull up the stats, his rushing stats, but I mean, he averages like less than a yard a carry, I think, even through his Florida career. So it's just, it's not something you're going to get from him. Don't expect like a read option, like an RPO, like those type of plays are just not an option with Kyle Trask as your quarterback. And that's fine. You can work around that, but it is a weakness. It is something to acknowledge, especially with the way football is played now. Um, Other one, questionable arm strength. He does have the high accuracy, but arm strength is something it is a little bit of a concern. He can make the deep throws, but like a lot of other quarterbacks who don't have the Anthony Richardson arm to just launch it 60 plus yards down the field, you got to throw with a little bit of anticipation. You got to throw it early. You see the matchup. You see the receiver running on the DB in man coverage, or the underneath zone or whatever. You see the matchup. You got to throw it early, and you can hit the deep passes that way. But obviously, it's a limitation because you can't always hit them that way. And you throw it early, you're kind of relying more on your own instinct and your own thought of, okay, this guy's gonna get open, rather than he is open and I can hit him down there. So if you're wrong, obviously that, it could get picked off, or you overestimate your own arm strength and you underthrow it, it'll get picked off as well. So that's another thing, it's a little bit questionable there. And final weakness here, sometimes he struggles to get off his first read. So it's not so much, I mean, it is a little bit, he can lock on to one guy, but kind of the problem is once that guy's covered, he's a little bit slow and moving to his second and then his third option. He just goes like he processes his options a lot slower than you would like. So again, it's something that could be worked through. And again, maybe he's worked through this while he's been with the Buccaneers. We just don't know because we have not really seen him play, but I'm sure it's improved. But again, it's another going into the draft. This is something on his profile. He can struggle to get off that first read and move on and move through his progressions. Um, Other concerns, just general, not really specific to his play that has been shown on the field. He hasn't really proven he can succeed outside of Dan Mullen's system in Florida. Um, Dan Mullen, there's obviously positive and negatives to him, but he was notorious for his work with Dak Prescott and I think Alex Smith. So again, he was someone who was kind of known as being quarterback friendly. So was Kyle Trask just another result of that, or was he truly a good quarterback? We don't know because we haven't seen it outside of his career with the Florida Gators. And again, it's a bit of a concern because he's been the backup on Tampa Bay for however many years, and then he was cut in favor of Teddy Bridgewater, who is a proven commodity. So again, You can say that. You can see that perspective, right? Like maybe they were just playing it safe. Um, but it is, again, it's something to consider because he's only had that extreme success, which was really impressive under and within one system. So again, he could get in. He could go in John Gruden's system, which I think would be a great fit, but he could get in that system and it just doesn't work. And we won't know until it plays out, right? So again, has not played any meaningful football other than preseason, which I wouldn't count as meaningful football in 5 years. Again, since that 2020 season with Florida, he hasn't had an opportunity. Again, you can say that that's because of him. He hasn't shown it in practice and he hasn't earned that spot. But you can also say, I mean, look at the quarterbacks who have been above him. They're not bad. They're good. I mean, obviously, he's not going to start over Tom Brady. He was never going to. And then Baker Mayfield, he came in with Tampa Bay, and I always thought he was a good quarterback, and he came in and proved himself in that spot and kind of robbed Kyle Trask of his opportunity there. And I don't know if you can really blame Kyle Trask there. I mean, Baker Mayfield is proving it right now. He's a really good quarterback. So, but either way, he hasn't played meaningful football in 5 years. So, has he improved or has he regressed? Has he gotten rusty? Has he, you know? So, again, couldn't hold on to the roster spot in Tampa Bay. And like I mentioned earlier, he couldn't win the backup QB spot in Indianapolis over Brett Rippon, who has far from a decorated resume in the NFL. But again, like I mentioned earlier, they may have already liked that guy, and for some reason they had a soft spot for him, and there's a little bit of bias there. Who knows? Or maybe Kyle Trask went out and looked horrible. We really don't know. So there is that. It's again just another thing to consider. And this next one. It's not a knock on Kyle Trask in any way. It's just really in terms of him joining the Orlando Storm, and that's he just simply might not want to move on from the NFL. I think he's good enough to warrant, like, there are a lot of quarterback desperate teams out there, and there are certainly teams that would take a flyer on him as the backup. I mean, at the very least. And then someone gets injured and he gets his opportunity. He might still want to stay in the NFL and prove that he can be a viable quarterback. I mean, and how can you blame him, really? Like, he hasn't really gotten his opportunity to even start for a team yet. He's been a career backup up until this point and just hasn't even had the chance, And it's not even like someone's went down with injury and he's had his chance to come in and play. Like, there's been no opportunity at all. It's been very solid, consistent quarterback above him his entire NFL career. So yeah, that's really all I got for this. But what I want to do is I kind of want to get into some film here. So before we do that, I mean, I guess I'll just summarize here. I think he would be a great fit for the Orlando Storm. And if we were able to get him alongside John Gruden, I would be over the moon. Like, and I think any fan that is monitoring this team and we can get that pairing of quarterback and coach should be ecstatic about what this team could do next year. It's just a perfect fit, right? And even regardless of play, like, they're both from Florida, or not from Florida, but they both have extensive history in the state of Florida, and then the scheme fit, and just former second round pick, former Heisman finalist, and obviously, like, you look how he played in Florida, and we'll get into it here with the film. I would be ecstatic. Again, I don't love that he can't really move around, but man, I mean, look at those numbers in college. It's been so long, but there's definitely concerns, right? It's not perfect, and what perfect quarterback are you gonna expect to get? But man, the potential's there, and it just feels like he just never got an opportunity, right? And if we could somehow get him on the Orlando Storm, and again with John Gruden in that scheme, which is a perfect fit for Kyle Trask, I think fans should be extremely excited about the thought of that. But with that all being said, let's go ahead and look at some clips from his game against Georgia in 2020. Yeah, let's get into it. All right, so this first play here, we are going to see him deal with a bit of pressure, handle it pretty well, but you'll kind of see what I mean in terms of the lack of mobility. The dude just reminds me of like Joe Flacco out there trying to scramble away from the pass rush. So here he goes, snaps the ball, stops, looks. I don't know if you can see my mouse pointer here, but he's kind of going through his progressions here. He's kind of looking at this guy up, this wide receiver up at the very top of the screen there. You see, he just kind of glances at it, immediately snaps back down. Hard to tell which of these three guys. I'm not sure what this like route concept is here. Not really a big fan of all these guys looking like they're running the very similar route and very close proximity to each other. Georgia, you can see, is kind of all over it, but basically pump fakes, doesn't really like it, and honestly a good decision. Scrambles out here, dude's all over him. Really can't get away from him, no chance, right? Pump fakes, throws it here. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say this was more of a throwaway than an actual attempt, but yeah, it's a risky throwaway. Again, you can't just chuck it out of bounds, but if it was a throwaway, I would say it's a smart play, but at the same time, if you miss this guy just a little bit over here, and there's that safety lurking back here, kind of hard to tell what's going on with the defense with this camera angle, but it's risky. But I guess he does a good enough job. Gets it out, gets an incomplete, just hits the ground there. So all being said, kind of broken play, and he makes the best of it. So here we're gonna have a 3rd and 6, just trying to get to the sticks here. This seems like he's just kind of following the script. Doesn't look like he's really analyzing anything. He just goes exactly with the play, and it just doesn't work. So you'll see here, throws it right towards the top. You can see he even kind of glances at him before the play starts. He knows where he's going before this play starts, and this is kind of I don't want to knock on him too much for it, but this is kind of what I'm talking about here. Locks in on his first read, doesn't even bother looking at anybody else. Like, this guy looks like he's leaking downfield. I don't know if there's a safety back there, but this guy looks like he's going to be wide open. You hold on to that ball a couple more seconds. This guy, that might be wide open down there, right? But instead, he already knows. Let's go ahead and rewind it. So you see, he glances straight at him, so he knows where he's going with the ball before this thing even starts. I don't know where the safety help is, if there's a safety back there. So there is some guy shading over there. Okay, so maybe that guy wasn't as open as I thought. But, yeah, either way, incomplete, 3rd down. I assume, yeah, would have to punt on that drive. And that's that. So, wow, already 14-0 here. So drops back, looks left, throws on with pressure in his face. Oh, man, beautiful throw. Oh, beautiful throw. All right, so drops back, dude right in his face, delivers the throw. This really looked like it was going to be an amazing play, but I guess dude just drops it. Yeah, should have had that. I mean, dude, the DB is right on him too, right? And this is kind of off the cuff, by the way. So if I'm stumbling, I have not watched this video in totality. So I watched the first 2 plays. So after this, I'm gonna just be kind of reacting to it as I watch it. But yeah, I mean, look at that. Like, DB's right on him. DB probably should have turned his head and located the ball, but either way, man, he had it. Receiver had it. That being said, you got to get it. Look at that. Oh my God. I mean, hard to throw it better than that, right? Perfect throw. Can't blame that on the QB. Wide receiver, you got to catch that. Man. Anyways, 2nd and 4. Drops back. Starting to rain. Wide open. I mean, come on. Wide open play. Let's just let it run. Hit him right in the hands. Big gain. 1st down. All right, empty set out here. Obviously a pass. He's not going to scramble with it. So, all right, drops back, looking. Oh, pressure in his face again. The offensive line must suck. Dump it off. Practically an incomplete. Just get out of the play. Motion, pre-snap motion. All right, looking. Pressure in his face again. Easy hit. Touchdown. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's look at that again. I mean, he's had pressure on every single one of these, and he's delivering pretty good balls right here. Oh, man. I'm trying to look at his eyes. It almost looks like, again, he's just locked on the same guy the entire time. But there, just get rid of it. He's looking pre-snap motion. Who's he looking at? Yeah, he does kind of lock in on him, but I mean, I guess for good reason, right? Touchdown. But every single one of these plays, he's under pressure. I mean, what is wrong with that offensive line? Maybe, I mean, it is the Georgia defense, so we'll give the defense credit. So a little play action, dumps it off to the running back. That looks like a play in the John Gruden offense for sure. Just nice, solid play, easy catch, easy pickup of yardage. Sorry about that. Man, bad play. I don't know if you can blame it on the quarterback, but let's see. This guy in motion. Yeah. So I guess the only thing I'll say here, probably hit him in a better spot for sure. Maybe you want to blame it on the receiver here, but you kind of just got to hit him in stride more. I don't know. I have trouble blaming it on him. You see this guy here, number 32 on the defense there. He's closing in on it. It closed in on it pretty early too. So he kind of saw it all the way, but you got one in motion and he's already across the field. Like, if he catches this in stride and breaks more to the outside towards the sideline, he has the angle on this DB. I assume he has the speed, and he could take this more towards the sideline and get a decent pickup of yardage, as long as number 5 hits a block there. Number 5, the wide receiver there for Florida, up there on the 40-yard line. If he can hit that block, that would be a decent gain. But for whatever reason, instead of catching this in stride and running towards the sideline, he kind of stops. Spins around, and does that. Again, you can blame the quarterback for not hitting him in the right spot. You can blame the receiver for kind of catching it and for whatever reason spinning towards the inside. I think this is kind of like day one of high school football here. You catch the ball, you don't spin inside towards the linebackers. You spin outside. You spin outside towards the sidelines. At least that's what I was always taught. Because it's not really relevant in this situation, but well, no, it is. You spin outside away from all the bodies, right? So worst case is you have a DB out there and you'd rather spin into a DB than inside into a big heavy linebacker or a safety that's crashing down hard, right? So most of the time you want to spin outside. Receiver didn't really do that. And again, we're not breaking down receiver film here, but you could say he could have led him more to the outside and that would have, got that pickup. Or you can just blame it on the receiver and say, why in the world did you stop here and take a loss, a big loss, might I add, instead of just cutting outside and at the very least getting 2 yards out of the play. But honestly, I think this could be closer to about 8 yards if he just catches that in stride and beats this guy. And the receiver picks up a block. Honestly, could probably even get a first down on it. But instead, settles for like a, 4 yard loss there. So drop back here. Oh, he has him. Yep. Awesome. Great catch. But yeah, great throw. Great catch. Great throw. All right. Fakes the handoff. Little play action screen there. Man, number 1 is just getting lit up, man. Anyways, keep going here. Oh, okay. I think that's our first bad throw. But luckily his player bailed him out and that defense bailed him out. But that was not a good throw. All right. So play action fake. Kind of glances over. Man, did he even think about that? I don't know. That's really quick. I mean, okay, so look, he fakes the handoff. He's looking straight ahead towards the middle linebacker. Still kind of looking him off. I think he's just looking him off. I don't think he's actually, because who would he be looking at? See, there's red jersey all in the middle of the field. He's not looking at any of his own players here. So I think he's trying to fake out the defense. That's what I take from this, because there's no one there. Unless he's looking at this receiver up here, which obviously there's nothing there. But see how quickly he snaps his head here? Immediately he's throwing the ball. Again, maybe he's just that good and he saw it immediately. I'm thinking this dude didn't even think about it. I'm thinking he turned over, he looked for half a second, and he's just slinging that thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but obviously you can see he kind of has him beat deep. But instead, he throws it way underneath. If this DB, instead of tripping over, just held his position that he already had, this is an interception all the way. But instead, he trips, falls on his face, ball falls right into the receiver's hands, and he makes a play. But that, like, let's just be real here. Against a competent, I'm not saying the DB is incompetent, but that was an incompetent play. The DB makes just a normal play. This is an incompletion, at the very worst, an easy interception. Very underthrown. And this is what I'm kind of alluding to there with that deep accuracy. This is only a 20-yard pass. 20-yard pass, and it's underthrown. So, again, lead that guy. I mean, if you lead him, this guy was tripping over regardless. If you lead him, that might be a touchdown. But instead, he has to stop, come back. He kind of has to jump over, go around this guy. Then he gets dropped at the 5. But should have been a touchdown for sure. Either way, complete. Let's see at the 5-yard line in the red zone. Fakes the handoff, gets it out. Oh, that's a good throw. Does he catch it? Nope. Right off his... Oh, my God. I wanted to cuss. Right off of his fingertips, man. Holy crap. I get it. That is a somewhat difficult catch. I guess you're in traffic. I don't know if he just got scared. But again, he looks at... Don't stare your receiver dead down right before you throw it to him, man. Like right before the play starts, you just look over at him, you stare him down. Maybe I'm making too much of it because obviously we're rewatching the play. Obviously hindsight is 20/20, but all right. So hands it off here, block. Does he only have one route that he can throw to? And he stared him down before the play. All right, but pretty solid defense. This, I don't know. I don't even want to give him that credit. You'll see the looks like the safety kind of playing over the middle there to the second from the top of the screen right on the goal line. I don't know what he's doing. He turns in the completely wrong direction. If he turns to this opposite direction, again, that's an interception. But for some reason, he turns the wrong way. That receiver's dealing with some hands right on the goal line there. If he just breaks out of that, gets his hands up a touch faster, that's a touchdown. Again, with an NFL receiver, that's a touchdown. Again, I guess you could say an NFL defense, that's an interception, but hits him right in the hands, you got to catch it. Maybe he put too much heat on it. That is an important thing, but hits him right in the hands, you got to catch it. You got to catch it. Again, I assume this is another passing attempt. Oh, my God, no way. Okay, so quarterback power, I assume. We're going to, like a power run. I don't know why you would run the ball with this guy. I mean, it is a 5-yard, but you'll see no speed, no burst at all. None whatsoever. No speed at all. Yeah, no burst, no speed, nothing of that sort. I mean, this is, I would not say they defended it that well. I mean, not amazing push from the offensive line, but you have 2 blockers right there. Again, someone like Anthony Richardson, you cut this out left, you go to the left side of this DB, your wide receiver kind of has leverage there. You cut around left, or even if you could even probably slide in right, you have a tiny bit more speed, you just push it in right there. That's a touchdown. He had the strength, I'll say that. He lowered his shoulder and got a couple extra yards, but yeah, not enough speed to get you in there. Not really going to be running much quarterback run game with this guy. I think that's the extent of it, and he still couldn't get it. So they scored the touchdown anyways. Gets the ball back, top of the second quarter. Quick, easy throw. Let's see that. Doesn't seem to. Again, maybe this is just me. I never really noticed this, but he stares his guy down pre-snap and then throws it right to him. Right? Look at him. Stares him down and then throws it right to him. I mean, that's an easy throw. Easy throw and catch. Out of bounds. All right. Did he do it again? Anyways, drops back, dumps to the tight end. First down. Some pressure. Oh, man. All right, let's look at this one. Oh, don't tell me it's a pick six. Oh, pick six. Oh, man. Okay, he had some pressure. Oh, wait, wrong play, sorry. But he did have some pressure on that one, delivered a good ball. So, again, throwing under pressure. But on this one, too, more pressure. I guess he got scared. That's what it was. Okay. Let's look at this again. All right. So you can see he's not looking anywhere close to the left side of the field here, right? He's not looking he's not even looking at it, not even looking at it. Running back makes a horrible attempt at a block. Dude goes right around him. He quickly snaps left, chucks that ball. He feels the pressure, chucks that ball over there. Man, it kind of hangs in the air a little bit, doesn't it? That DB just right there. Who's he throwing it to? One? Number one? Let's watch it again. Yeah, I assume he's throwing it to number one there. Oh, man, I can't tell. It's right in between both of those guys. Either way, not a good decision. Not a good throw. Oh, I can't tell. I can't tell if he was throwing it to number one or number three. Either way, not a good throw. Can't tell who he's throwing it to. It's probably not a good throw, right? Intercepted, pick six. Gets the ball back, 25-yard line. All right. Oh, great throw. Great throw. Oh, my God. I saw that one all the way. Ah, great throw and catch. Awesome. Right to the running back. John Gruden special. All right. Drops back. Solid throw. Great catch. Awesome. Amazing throw, too. Come on, watch that one again. Let's watch that again. Okay, he's looking. Again, he kind of locks on the first read. I mean, whatever. It's well covered. I mean, honestly, I don't think you can throw it better than that. But, again, not to nitpick, but, again, he doesn't really look at anything else. He locks on one guy the whole time, tosses it. I mean, I guess he liked the matchup and he put it in the right spot. Touchdown. Can't really complain. Launching it downfield, guy in his face. Oh, my God, amazing throw. This is what we're talking about. The accuracy is just amazing. Even with a guy right in his face, which has been in his face almost all game, he's hitting these guys. Ooh, man, he took a hit. That was a good throw, though. Wide open. That's too easy. Good throw, but dude's wide open. A lot of play action. Another good throw. He's accurate. I'll tell you that. He's accurate, man. He's hitting these throws right where they need to be. Oh, made a guy miss. They got some playmakers on this team, man. There's a lot of that, too. There's a lot of yards after catch here, but, I mean, dude's hitting them right in the hands like 90% of the time. A lot of throws to the running back, a lot of throws to the tight ends. Everybody's getting involved. Lord, that offensive line. That offensive line is garbage, dude. All right, drop back. Well, that was a pretty good pocket. Caught it right in the hands. Good throw. Good throw, open receiver. Just kind of zooming through these. Oh, this is a 2-minute drill, too. I'm sorry. My IQ is not paying attention. No timeouts. Oh, my. Oh, my God, the 2-minute drill. You got to love that. I hate that I didn't realize the time situation earlier. They got 40 seconds left on the clock, 2 timeouts. Hits them, easy gain. I think that's a first down. Man, drop back, 1 timeout. Easy play. You're going to have to call a timeout there, right? Yep. 15 seconds left. Wow. Couldn't script up the 2-minute drill much better than that, could you? Let me rewind. Didn't really catch that one. Sorry. All right, another play action. All right, good throw and catch. I mean, I'm probably nitpicking. I think he was trying to get it over that linebacker there, or that DB, whoever that was underneath. I was gonna say put some more zip on it, but honestly, he layered it perfectly. He threw it exactly how he needed to. Because the only thing I saw was it kind of hung in the air for a minute there. The receiver or tight end, whoever that is, had to slow down a little bit. But he layered it exactly where it needed to be. You see this guy is underneath. There's this guy underneath just waiting to pick that ball off, kind of going with the running back, but right there. Layers it right over him, hits this guy right before the sideline. First down. Great throw. All right, another play action. They run play action almost every single play. Great throw. I'm not sure there's any other read other than that guy, but hey, he hit him. Great throw. I mean, wide open, but hey, if they're giving it to you, man, take it. All right, guy right in his face, incomplete. Pretty good, all things considered. Offensive line is just doing him no favors today, man. Drop back, he's looking, and he's sacked again. No mobility, but they're up pretty good now. Looking. Catch. Make a guy miss. 2nd and 18. Oh, my goodness. A lot of yards after catch. If you'll notice, I'm going to pause it here. If you'll notice, when he gets the ball out of his hands fast and he's hitting like his first or his second look, it's usually a good play. When the play is dragging out and he's having to look through his options and he's having to make something happen, that's usually when there's an incomplete or there's a sack or there's some sort of negative play. That's just the common theme I'm noticing in this game. Can't really judge a player off just one game, but that's what I've noticed. Okay. Hit him. Screen. Really no gain. I don't really know what you want him to do there. It's kind of a design play. Maybe you hit the running back on the flat on the opposite end, but I won't give him too much flack for that one. Oof. Fit that right between that defensive lineman's hands right there. Oof. Did it get tipped? Oh, I don't know. Either way, good play. First down. A lot of yards after catch, though. So he's obviously got some playmakers that can make some stuff happen, right? Again, another short throw. 8 yards after catch. Solid play, man. I mean, all of his throws are accurate, though. I'll say, oh, he stole that from me. All right, well, whatever. I don't think it's going to you, but we'll take it. All right, drops back. Yeah, see, no, that was a bad one for sure. He just he hung it in the air way too much there. So that's kind of one of the few, and again, I've only seen like maybe 2 throws that were just truly like just not good throws. Usually it's some sort of like, other mistake, but your dude's open and the defender gave him plenty of space. Just hit him in the numbers. He might break that tackle and get the first down, or at the very least, that's a 6-yard gain. Gets you in 4th and manageable. Not that you're going to go for that anyways, but he could get the first down. Not that, just keep them away. You got a sizable lead, but, just want to cement that lead and secure the victory with 11 minutes to go in the 4th. But, yeah, overthrows him. Almost gets his guy laid out, but luckily this is not the game that we played, 20 years ago where that guy would have been unconscious on the ground right there. I guess, oh, no. I thought it was going to be another play action. Oh, what in the world happened there? That was quick. Yeah, just immediately. Who was he throwing that to? Maybe a miscommunication there. I'm not sure. It looks like, I'm going to say he was trying to throw to number 1 again. Maybe he broke in the wrong way. He was expecting him to break outside instead of inside. I almost want to say that's not the case because this guy's breaking outside right there. This guy's right there. I wouldn't think that's a good play scheme to have that many people kind of tucked in here that can get 1 defender and cover, 2 defenders and cover 3 guys. It's not really good football, but either way, hitting nobody. Really more probably like a mental lapse, like just not understanding the play, either the receiver or him. But anyways, next play here, throwing. It looks like throwing to this guy that's all covered up. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. There was nothing there. That was a tough throw. It's that guy again. Kind of lets it hang a little bit, right? I think he saw it late. Lets it hang a little bit. NFL defense, that's an interception. Yeah, see. Instead of the defender going for the ball, he kind of goes for the receiver, the running back in this case. Again, NFL defense, I think that's an interception, but regardless, good catch. Huge game. Drops back, relatively clean pocket. Oh, yep, bad throw. Bad throw. Right in his hands, just dropped it. That's why he's playing defense. That's what they say, right? But again, I don't love this play. Why do you have these 2 wide receivers just on top of each other? You're inviting trouble. It's not good for your quarterback. It's just not good football at all. But you got 4 defenders. Just again, these guys are kind of far away, but you got all this coverage here. I mean, the receivers don't even look like they're expecting the ball. Just instead of the receiver attacking the football, the defender has the leverage on it, breaks in. Could have been a pick 6. Would have been his 2nd pick 6 of the game. So it's not perfect. Obviously, wouldn't expect it to be. Great juke by that receiver. That was a shifty move, but good throw. Okay, clean pocket, waiting, throws again. I'm going to keep harping on this. It's almost as though the more time he has to process the play, the worse the play goes. So, again, clean pocket. He's sitting here, let it develop, throws it into double coverage. Maybe if you put more zip on it, you get that complete, but it wasn't there. Don't force it. Man, this is a bad sequence. I mean, the game's pretty much sealed here, right? But you're up by what? 13? There's been crazier things that happen to come back. Obviously they don't, but to come back 14 points with 5 minutes, they could do it. And this guy's kind of, it seems like he's doing everything he can to sell this game. He gave him a lot of, I mean, that could be an interception. Man, if that ball didn't get tipped, no, he tipped it. He actually tipped it himself. And that would be his, is that right? Is that his final passing attempt? Well, yeah, I guess that's all his throws. So yeah, guys, you kind of saw it all there, right? Just get back here. Sorry, get back in here. Yeah, guys, you kind of saw it all there, right? You saw the accuracy, a lot of accurate throws, a lot of throws under pressure. But again, you saw the lack of mobility. You saw on that one play, he kind of struggled to get it, like 25 yards down the field. And a lot of times he's just locking on one guy. And again, it seems like the longer the play had to develop, the less likely it was to succeed. And usually you think you're giving the quarterback all the time in the world back there, he's going to make something happen. Kind of seemed like the opposite for him. The longer the thing has to develop and he has to sit there and think about it, the more likely he is to make a mistake. But, those are the pros and cons. Obviously, the throwing ability is there. Like, he can make really good throws, but I think with him in the John Gruden scheme and a John Gruden offense, he could be highly successful, just like he was with Dan Mullen. But there's flaws there. And obviously, what quarterback that we can expect to sign with the Orlando Storm in the UFL is not going to have flaws. So I think those flaws are something you can live with. Certainly something that he could have been working on during his time in Tampa Bay. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think. Again, like and subscribe. Follow me on all the socials I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And I'll see you all in the next one. Go Storm. Sir John.